Hello. Hello to the interwebs. Hello to the interwebs. I'm just going to try to make this as brief as possible. How apropos that All the Way Up is playing, because that's how I'm kind of feeling. I just finished lunch. I hope there's no spinach in my teeth. I'm in Harlem and I'm celebrating. I guess this is an all-encompass post. I'll touch on everything. I had doctor's appointments today, follow-ups, conquer cancer. So I went and had my boobs checked, because even though I'm a bladder cancer conqueror, my mother is a breast cancer conqueror. And so I also have to get checked early for that. So the conclusion as of today is that the girls are fine. Woohoo! So because of that, I decided to go treat myself to lunch in celebration of my good health, and decided to go to a restaurant in Harlem. Not going to say the name because I like the restaurant and I hope they continue to thrive. But I went in, had a nice seat in the back, quaint little outside part. It had been recommended to me by a friend, at least one. And for the sake of the story, I will call the two people involved. I'll say Lisa and Bob. So Lisa was my waitress. She was great. We got into a conversation about, she had the faux locks in, and we were talking about, just black girl hair stuff. So it was great. And she was beautiful, good service, the whole nine. So I ordered my meal. I ordered a drink. My meal comes out and Bob brings me my meal. Both of these are black people, young enough. And so Bob brings me my meal and I said, thank you so much. I said, I also ordered a drink. He said, oh yeah, Lisa, Lisa, your waitress with the big butt, she's going to bring you your drink. And sometimes, despite the fact that this is a lace front, in my true blonde, I think I have blonde in my heart sometimes, or you could call it what you want. Sometimes it's just being a Gemini, being very bipolar, and not so much in the mental health state of a diagnosis, but in the sense of I have both extremes. So sometimes I just don't say anything in an effort to not say the wrong thing, or to also gather my thoughts. And so I sat there, I continued to have my meal and have my drink, which when Amber brought to me, oops, did I say her real name? I'm sorry, that was really a slip, because I did have a drink, so whatever. Let's go back to what it was. Lisa. When Lisa brought me this drink, I said, thank you. I said, everything's good. I said, the young man that brought me my drink, she said, Bob. I said, yes. I said, do you know that he referred to you as Lisa with a big butt? And she's like, oh, he plays like that, like he's a comedian. And I was like, oh, okay. So again, I went back into, and no disrespect to my fellow blonde sisters, but I went back into Blondeville to just kind of like process that. And sometimes I let things just kind of wash away. And sometimes I, like when something just sits with you. So between everything that's going on in the universe with my people, just everything, right? I just was in the drink. I figured out by the end of my meal that I wasn't okay with it. So when I got up to leave, I asked Lisa, the waitress, if she could get me Bob, if she could tell him to come to me. And she said, okay. She said, and she went to the back and she said, he's coming out in just a minute. And I said to her, I said, I don't know you. I said, I've only had a few minutes of chatting with you, but you seem like a lovely young lady. And you seem really smart, great service. And so it's not, I just didn't find it appropriate for him to refer to you as that. I said, you guys may have a good working relationship. And that may be okay between the two of you, but it's really just not professional for him to refer to you as that, because there's also more to you. And I said, and I say that to you because I'm also going to say the same thing to him. And so she was like, oh, okay. She said, no, I understand. I appreciate that. Thanks. And she said, he's coming. So I left it at that. And then he came out, and it's not to embarrass him or, make a scene. I asked him to step outside where there was no one seated at the outside area in front of the restaurant, because I have been sitting in the back. And I said to him, I said, I don't know you. I said, you seem like a nice young man. I said, but and I don't know Lisa, the waitress. I said, except for the few minutes that I've gotten a chance to, converse with her while here. I said, but I say this to you, that, as a sister to a brother, it's never okay to identify and objectify a woman based on a part of her body, especially not to another woman. And I was offended by that. I said, which is why I'm telling you, so that you know. I said, because you seem like a nice guy and she seems like a great lady, but I didn't like it. And I say it to you because I think there's more to you and I think there's more to her, and I would want other people to know that, so that when they come in contact with you, you are now aware. And he was like, oh, okay. And I could tell, maybe he'll let it go through one ear and out the other. Maybe he will pause the next time he thinks to refer to her as Lisa with the big butt. But these are the moments. One, because we can't let stuff build up. Because what happens, I think, sometimes people say and do stuff and we have an opportunity to speak on it and we don't. And then the next fifth or sixth person who says something, we get upset. That guy that whistles when we walk down the street or something like that. And don't get me wrong, because there are times, and I don't claim to be a saint or like the ultra, feminist that seizes every opportunity. I listen to music that objectifies women. I don't think it's right. I don't like those parts, but I'm aware. And so I say this just because sometimes we have to speak up. If something doesn't sit well with you, we have to speak up. And I still find myself challenged in day-to-day instances where I want to say something, but I know the truth for me is, if I cannot find a way to say it in love, then I usually just don't speak on it. Because, and not to say you can't say something to somebody and not be justified in your frustration, your anger, your offense, but for me, I always try to come from a place of love. So I say it just to encourage you today, to one, to speak up, to two, recognize that not just in terms of, blackness, but just in terms of community, we are a village, and like the ripple effect that could have on everything, on businesses, on young people, on workers, on women, on men, on just the effect that it could have on everything and everybody. And I'm not saying like my comment changed the world, but I say it to also just remind myself, and so I share it with you, that I hope you will speak up, speak out, and hold people accountable if you are offended, but even more so if their offense could have a greater downfall. And if you're a young person, don't ever let somebody introduce you that way in a professional setting. Hell no. Anyway, I'm going to climb down off my soapbox. Thanks for listening. Love. Unicorns. Oh, wait. And my ribbon on top was that as I left and I pulled off and I'm circling around because I'm about to go try to take some shoes back, blah, 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 I saw some police officers of various races posted up on the corner in my beloved Harlem. And sometimes we're looking again for those ways to like, how can we make a difference? I've been talking with people lately about protesting and marching and boycotting and all kinds of things that, like, what do we do? Conversations. And so all I did was roll down the window and said, be safe, stay safe, be safe, that's that coming through a psych. But just to say, be safe, stay safe. And they were like, thank you. So sometimes we just got to spread love in the itty bitty ways out there, to not let, because the media will perpetuate that it is all cops against all blacks, and it's not. And though I am all hashtag Black Lives Matter and all hashtag Brexit drink, I would never want a police officer to be harmed in the line of duty, especially not unnecessarily. So that's just one way we can spread love. Is just be love in the smallest ways that you can show up. All right, I'm over my 10 minutes. Like, I gotta go. I gotta take these shoes back. Bye. Do I have to spit at your teeth? Get out my mouth. Bye.